Hello everybody and welcome to this video where I won't be correcting TikTok English teacher errors because they're not exactly making mistakes. They're just not getting it quite right. I'll explain what I mean. First up, we have this.
How do you call in English?
Oh, a hairdryer?
Yes, a hairdryer. How do you call in English?
And that is just something we would never say as native speakers. And it's something you find very common with people who can speak English really well. This has happened to me on a number of occasions where I've spoken to somebody who's very fluent in English and I can talk to them for perhaps hours and hours. And then they will say, "How do you call something?" And immediately I know they're not a native speaker because in English, we always say, what? What do you call X? As the teacher, I know that's not the scenario in this video, but as the teacher, that is something she should correct because although it's not technically wrong, it's just not what we would say in English. And that is what all of these videos have in common.
See you on January. Don't you mean in January? In January. I always get confused with on, in, and at. We use in for long periods of time, in the summer, and in January.
I actually like this guy. I think his video channel is very well made. He rarely, in fact, I don't think he's ever made a mistake in any of the videos that I've watched of his. And here he's not technically wrong because we do use in for long periods of time, but there's an implication that we don't use it for short periods of time. And in fact, we do. We say things like, "I'll be there in a minute." We are always told to live in the moment. And these are short periods of time. So he's not exactly wrong, but you could argue that he's being a bit misleading.
Hi, what can I get for you today? May I please have a hamburger? Anything else? Please do not put any sauce in my hamburger. Okay, ma'am. Here's your hamburger with no sauce.
Okay, so there's a couple of things going on here. This is very nuanced, and this is mainly what this video is about. It's just the subtleties of English. So we have a subtle difference between hamburger and burger. Hamburger is actually the meat patty. The burger is the entire thing with the bun and the lettuce and all of that stuff. So what she says is,
please do not put any sauce in my hamburger.
What she's actually saying is don't put any sauce into the meat while you are preparing it. You see, here's the subtlety of English. If she had said, "Don't put any sauce on my hamburger," that would be don't put any sauce directly on top of the piece of meat. Don't put any sauce on my burger means don't put any sauce anywhere within the confines of the burger. So including the bread, the lettuce, everything. That's the difference between in and on and the difference between burger and hamburger in English.
Cooker! Hey, cooker! First of all, say excuse me. Secondly, I'm not a cooker. This is a cooker. I am a human being. I am a cook.
Whatever, cooker. Just give me my soup.
That's it. I'll quit the job. Now, ask the cooker to serve you.
Okay, again, I can't emphasize this enough. What he says is not grammatically incorrect. There are no errors there as such, but there are just a couple of things that would make me realize he's not a native speaker. The first is a very subtle thing when he says this.
I am a human being.
He puts the stress on human, and a native speaker would put the stress on being. So it's not human being, but a human being. Very, very subtle thing. But if you're a native speaker, you would hear that and you would think, yep, okay, I know that you're not a native speaker. Okay, let's look at the second thing that he does.
That's it. I'll quit the job. Now, ask the cooker to serve you.
I'll quit is a contraction of I will quit. And in English, in contexts like this, we have two ways of expressing the future. I will do something and I am going to do something. And the difference between these two really amounts to how certain we are of that future event. We would use will when we are not exactly 100% certain. We're pretty damn sure it's going to happen. I don't want to put a percentage on this, like 80 or 90%, but we definitely think it's more likely to happen than to not happen. Then we would use will. If we are 100% certain that this future event takes place, we would say going to. I am going to do something. One of the reasons for that certainty is the event happening almost immediately after the prediction. So the less time that there is between the prediction and the event, the less chance there is of something happening to stop that thing. So we tend to say, I am going to do something almost immediately before it happens. So in this context, because he is clearly going to quit within 2 seconds, he should say, I'm going to quit. I'll quit, I will quit is not technically incorrect, but it's just not exactly what we would say as a native speaker. But even in this context, I am going to quit is not exactly right. Because in a situation like this, where you're about to just walk away and never come back, you would simply say, I quit. What he said isn't wrong, it's just not exactly what native speakers would say. For the last example in this video, we have a regular on this channel.
Hi.
Oh, welcome back, Tatiana. What brings you in today?
You're again slouching.
Not wrong, but just not exactly how we would say it as native speakers. We tend to put words like again at the end of a sentence. So you're slouching again would be much more natural. If we're going to mess up that word order, we do it to emphasize the word again. So in the context of this video, it doesn't look like she is really irritated. But if we were going to mix up that word order, that would be to express a great irritation, because we've said this to you many, many occasions in the past. You're not listening. You're not doing what you should be doing. So you're again slouching. But it would have to be great annoyance, real irritation, and that's just not what we're getting from this video. So the correct word order here would be you're slouching again. Okay, that's it. I hope you enjoyed the video and I hope you found it interesting and useful. See you in the next one. Bye-bye now.